Welcome to Warblog. I've done this video now 3 times, or this is the 3rd time, and so it starts off like this: Welcome to Warblog, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. Lots of features. Look, you've got questions. This game has a quiz, and when you click it, you can see now that it has a quiz. Combined with probably something that's been around for a couple of weeks now, this game has a timeline, which means it's got this thing here, which means when you press it, you can start to see all the things moving on their own. Fantastic. Obviously, when they've got both a quiz and a timeline, you get to see both of them. I've gone back to some of the old ones, and obviously this has a quiz. The thing is, if it has a quiz, it doesn't automatically do it because it only flags it up when I update it. So, I mean, I have no idea where the other ones are, but for example, if one of these had a quiz or a timeline that hasn't been sort of done, then it won't flag it up until I update it. So I've no idea really. So that's that. That was the start, and then I moved on to my super surprise of shop for merchandise. So I've got a new shop. It's fantastic. You can buy things on it, and I'm not putting a lot of effort into this. Few reasons. Well, I mean, I don't think anyone's going to really buy much, but I don't want to. Well, I'm putting some effort in, obviously, and I'm quite excited about it. I am, and I do want it. I do like it, and I do think there's some value in there. But I get the feeling that there's a possibility that, I mean, you can see these. This is hay. It's not hay in what cows eat. It's I can never say their name. HTS. Hayat Tahir Sham. I really feel like making a video so I can pronounce it, but then it'll probably sound like I'm a terrorist or something. But the thing is, if they ever find out that this is sort of on there, they might say, oh no, against their principles, but they're such a small place that they probably won't. You know, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. It's just blogs, isn't it? You know, but you can buy things. So this is actually a poster. And these are t-shirts. It doesn't show this other stuff. I can't really figure out how to faff around with it really. But you can get mugs. So you would have thought if you put your mouse over it, you'd get a bigger picture of the mug, but you get a picture of what you're getting. So this is, I made this up, so that's a graphic, obviously, and this doesn't have the Warblog thing underneath it. These are tea coasters. I quite like this mug actually, you know, but you've got some other products like mouse mats. So again, it's simple to do. I mean, I've got 2 images. I've actually got 3 because I've also got posters, and this is what I'm a bit excited about. This is 3 feet by 2 feet. This is 2 feet by 16, and this is 1 foot by 8 inches. So the thing is, you don't really get much of a sense for what you're looking at. If you click it, you get to see what it looks like. You get to see what it looks like a little bit bigger, and you get to see what it might look like above your desk. So you can see it. Look at that. There's your desk. It has nothing on it apart from a plant and some pencils. So there you go. It's a shop. And you can buy stuff, and I probably will put more stuff in there. I will probably put more posters in because I quite like the idea of posters, and you get 3 sorts. You get landscape, portrait, and a square. So, you know, I just think that the posters might appeal to people. The big one is 21, and the small one is 14. I don't see much difference between them. I mean, especially between this and that. You know, it seems like it seems like something that's 12 inches by 8 inches is incredibly overpriced at £15. it does seem that £21 is a lot of money for a three. Well, it's a lot of money for anything really. So I don't see these things flying off the shelf, but that's business, isn't it? So it probably comes on, a bit of board or, something fairly appealing. I don't think it's, I don't imagine it's like a print out from your ColorJet printer or anything, but that's between you and Spreadshirt. That's it really. I spent half an hour talking about it before, and what I didn't realise was that my video was only 7 seconds long. So you can obviously get caps and things like that. This is sort of the default, and then you can go in there and you can, well, I can, I don't know if you can, squidge them up. I mean, I can't imagine anyone wanting to buy a cap like that, but it's sort of, I haven't really sort of like really gone for it in to try and really sort of get to the end of things. I mean, I can't imagine anyone wanting to buy a bag with that on it really. But the thing is, I can put other stuff on, so I think there's going to be things that will possibly be more popular. I personally really probably maybe want to get rid of some of these things, but I can't bother to do it at the moment. I think the things that I like are the mugs, because I think what you're doing here, you're buying a souvenir of your experience with Worblogs. Obviously, you can do a bit more than that by becoming a member. But I think that there's got to be some sort of not so much interest, but I think the site definitely gets views, and I get the impression, I don't know, because I don't really do much of the analytics or logs, but I do get the impression that there are people that come back, and I do get the impression that there are people that know about the site, and what I'm getting to is, if you're at that level, then it makes sense to get a memento of your time. It's not about profit. I mean, obviously I want to make some money, and obviously it's merchandising, but I think there's a new paradigm that I'm sort of considering and thinking about, and that's the fact that you might need one of these bags, and getting something that has something like this on it suits your purposes, but it's also sort of makes you aware of Worblogs. So the thing is, I think that there is some scope for or potential for why this one might be as popular as this one. This one seems like a no-brainer because it's like a branding, isn't it? Warblog, modern War Dog games. But this one is sort of more discreet in the sense that you can probably achieve, maybe not the bag. For example, if you were to look at a T-shirt, for example, like this, you could, if this guy looks like a gamer, you could probably, it's interesting how this one looks slightly different to that. I think it's because he's changed his position. But you could probably, it probably won't look as crap as that, because it will go with the contours. But you could probably have a conversation with someone as they sort of say, oh right, well, if they know anything about Hex Encounter games, I think this might appeal, because people can look at it and come up with strategies, and you might have a crowd of people looking at your T-shirt. So it's something I do think that would work, but this one is like a walking advert for my site. Now, unless you actually really like the brand and you want to do that, then, so I think I sort of thought, well, this is how should all do it, and this is just rubbish, but I think there is actually some play on this, but I will be adding more and more scenarios. For example, there's not many counters on this, but, it's the mapping and the stylization, and, but I think at the end of the day, what you're doing is, if you've spent any time on the site, I think it's worth getting a memento, and I've never thought like this before, but I have been thinking more along those lines, because people tend not to remember it, keep anything, and I don't think Warblog is going to go anywhere soon, but you can't guarantee anything. sites, they just vanish. And when they vanish, they're gone. And all your memories and all the time you've invested staring at your computer screen is gone. And the only thing you'll have left is your stupid t-shirt or your stupid mug that you bought. And so, that's why I'm sort of putting this here, to give people those sorts of opportunities. Now, I think that these posters, if I can get a few more out, I could sit there all day. Clearly, I've got, 740 scenarios. I could probably click into here and, pull out any number of these. This one might be good. I could just, that would be a poster. Might not. I could do that, but I could actually do this. I could take a shot of this halfway through a game. We've got the Venezuela situation. A lot of these will be better than others, but it's not. What the point is, there's plenty of scenarios that I could pick on to potentially use as posters. You sort of think, would this make a good poster? What would make a good poster? Etc. etc. So, that probably wouldn't make a good poster. I always remember this game because there's no terrain. But maybe it would. This one was quite interesting. So again and again, I could sit here making tons and tons of posters, but I do think the posters do actually have some inherent value. I know on YouTube people quite often frame the maps from proper hex and counter games. Now, obviously, some maps are actually more aesthetic and better, and the Warblog games, the Warblog maps are very stylistic, but they're not terrible. You might say, I don't really like them, or I wouldn't say that they were best of breed or the best out there, but they're certainly not rubbish. They're certainly not without any merit at all. And I just think that, as an asset in their own right, a full range of these posters, they hold their own weight. Now, I have actually considered using these posters as the basis for actually the board game, to actually print out the map on a poster, as the sort of, the actual, the actual basis of the game. So you could buy the map here, and then maybe print out the counters for free, or something along those lines. I have thought of that. To be quite honest, I don't know. If it sort of became popular, I might consider it. But what I wouldn't want is them deleting my account with all these posters. But I haven't even seen them. I haven't bought one. But for example, if this is actually 3 feet by 2 feet, which is actually quite a reasonable size, the actual counters would have to actually be quite big, or you could have small ones in there. I think it might be quite an interesting basis for sort of print and play. Although I do print and play, you have to print and play them yourself. But if I do these, sort of in a more formal manner and just sort of start putting them up there, you could do it like that. You could buy them in either this size, or this size, but either way, they're going to be pretty expensive. You can sign up and print them all off, in whatever way you want, as it is. So anyway, there it is. There's a shop. You can buy stuff. It's just an experiment, really. I thought of it this morning, and that's as far as I've got, and I'll probably develop it over time. So I hope you enjoy that, and buy mugs, t-shirts, posters, mouse mats, tea coasters, and caps. I'll speak to you later. Cheerio.